Hey everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today, we're going to look at the Chinese premium Tier 6 cruiser, the Huang He. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a light cruiser. She's originally a British ship, as far as I know. And we'll compare her to the other light cruisers at Tier 6, because there's a fair amount of them, and they're all very good, except for the British one. So my hopes weren't all that great when I got this one. So let's take a closer look at her stats and what she can do. She has relatively little health. She's comparable to the German Nürnberg in this regard, and the armor protection, as you'd expect for a light cruiser, is pretty much non-existent. In terms of speed, she's there on a good speed, not as fast as the De Grasse, but 32 knots is not terrible. And she's got a very good turn time with just under 6 seconds. And I haven't even used any equipment to increase that because it's a really good value already. So she's a nimble ship. The guns are different. So while the British Tier 6 Leander has 8 twin turrets with 152mm guns, she has only 3. And this leads to a total of six guns versus the 8 guns on the Leander, so 2 guns less. But she does have a faster reload time, with only 6 seconds at the base. The main battery armor piercing damage on the 152mm is exactly the same as on the Leander, as you'd expect. But unlike the British light cruiser, she can actually fire high explosives, so you don't have that massive problem of not having penetrating AP shots against anything armored that the British light cruisers are suffering from. But again, she only has 6 guns, 2 in the front and 1 in the rear turret. So she has the more aggressive layout similar to the De Grasse, and I like the Nürnberg, which has the twin turrets in the rear. In terms of torpedoes, she only has 2 torpedo launchers, 2 triple launchers. The torpedoes do have a decent range of just over 6 kilometers, but it's not comparable to the De Grasse, for example, which has an 8-kilometer torpedo range, which is much preferable. So she needs to get closer. She's still better than the Nürnberg with her 5.4 German torpedoes, but the number of torpedoes and the range isn't great. In terms of anti-air, she's actually really powerful. Even though she doesn't have the dedicated anti-air consumable, she has a relatively good anti-aircraft firepower. Better than the De Grasse, which is more of a designated anti-air cruiser by herself. And lastly, probably one of her strong points, she has a very good surface detection range. And we'll again look at camo and equipment later, but I've brought it down to 6.5 kilometers. Now, if you remember the torpedo range of 6.24 kilometers, that means we're still, even with all the camo skills up all the way, we're still not able to stealth fire. So that's a bit of a problem, given that she needs to get close with her torpedoes. And she's a light cruiser, so she's really vulnerable. The damage reduction at 6% really does almost nothing, just like a destroyer with a Citadel. She gets shot up really easily, and she doesn't have much health to start with. So let's take a look at the equipment and at the details. Again, all premium ships come fully upgraded by default. In terms of elite bonus, I've gone with the cruiser modernization, just to get a little bit more hit points. I felt like the main battery firing range didn't make that much of a difference. And I get a bit better traverse speed, because with light cruisers, I usually expect to have to navigate around quite a bit. And in that case, the turret traverse is something that you really need. Her turret traverse with all the modifications is at 12.8 degrees, which isn't great, but which is manageable. So the camouflage that you get, I got this one out of the bundle, so it comes with a historic camouflage. It increases the firing range for the main batteries and the torpedoes, but just not enough to be able to stealth fire, like I said. It does add to the great traverse speed, and it reduces the surface detection range. In terms of equipment, I've decided to go with the turret traverse modification, because she already has a 6-second reload time, so getting the reload booster on wouldn't make that much of a difference. And the second and third slot are very unlikely to my normal light cruiser setup, because I usually go with the traverse. But since she's already having a great traverse, and I decided to go with the propulsion and with the concealment system. So I'm going to get into details as to why I've chosen these in 1 second. It's because if we look at the special skills that she has, she gets 3 ship skills. One, and this is a very interesting and unique combination. She gets a sonar, so you can increase your detection range and you can spot torpedoes early. She gets a smoke generator, similar to what the British ships are getting. And she gets a torpedo reload booster, which instantly reloads her torpedo troops. So these, you only get two boosters, and they have, I think, about 120-second recharge time. So you can use them twice in a battle, basically, and get another 3 set of torpedoes out. So from this, my impression of how the ship is meant to be played is she's supposed to be sneaky. She's supposed to sneak up on enemies. She's supposed to use her smoke and use her torpedo reload and use her fast-firing guns to unleash some devastating strikes and then get out again. Unfortunately, the sonar skill doesn't quite match into this, in my opinion. I would have much rather had a speed boost, because while she's not slow, she's certainly not very fast. The smoke generator doesn't last very long unless you have the... So I'm definitely going to get a Mistweaver skill on my captain once I've got him trained up. But you need to get out of there very quickly, and you need to get uncomfortably close to the enemy ship because you only have a 6-kilometer torpedo range. Well, you could smoke up and use your guns, but the damage that these guns can put out isn't that great. I've done a little comparison of the damage per minute between the four light cruisers that are similar to her. So if we look at the Huanghe, she's her armor piercing is relatively terrible. She only has 552 armor piercing damage, just like the Leander. And since she has 2 guns less than the Leander, with 1 less turret, she only does about 33,000 armor piercing per minute. And that isn't that great. She's the lowest of all these 4 that I've compared. In terms of high explosives, the high explosives do a decent damage, better than the disastrous one in the Nürnberg. And she almost gets close to the de Grasse with this. Even though the de Grasse actually has 3 turrets, the Huang He has a much higher fire rate, so she can do almost as much in terms of high explosive. This is definitely a ship that you want to play similar to the de Grasse, and you want to set fires with this. She's, like I said, she's sneaky, but this is very, very difficult to play because once you get close, you can't use her to rush ahead. You can use her to scout, but once you get spotted, you get shot down very, very, very quickly. So I feel that she sits a little bit in between. The de Grasse is a long-range support ship. The de Grasse's strengths are shooting torpedoes from the distance and using her high explosive power to set things on fire from range, where she has enough time to dodge shells that come back. The Huang He kind of can do this, but it doesn't feel like this should be her role. So we'll see how she plays. Let's have a quick look at the commander that who I've got in place. Since this is my first Chinese ship, I don't have much in terms of skills quite yet. So I've gone with the regular torpedo protection skills in first and second slot. I've gone with the artillery maintenance because I felt like she might play as in a similar role as the de Grasse does, with the long range fire setting ship. But again, the torpedoes don't really quite match into this. So for what I'm definitely looking forward to is the Mistweaver skill at higher tier to extend the duration of the smoke screen, and yeah, we'll see how she plays. So I think this is not a ship for everybody. I've definitely been struggling with her to get consistently good results. A lot of battles I ended up being shut down very, very quickly, or being able to only do moderate amount of damage. I definitely stick with the high explosive shells just because I don't feel the armor piercing are going to do anything, and unless you're firing at destroyers maybe. And yeah, setting fires feels like the way to go with this. So I'll give her a spin, and then we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we're playing against 5 battleships and 2 destroyers. We're bottom tier. So I guess we're gonna probably be doing some escort duties, see if we can catch the destroyers out of position and stay away from the battleships as much as possible. And again, here it becomes difficult, right? You want to get your torpedoes in against battleships because that's what you do with light cruisers, but you can't get close enough.
General quarters.
This would be the same problem I would be having in a Nuremberg as well, by the way. So
Let's do this.
let's see how this goes. But the Nuremberg has the double sets of torpedoes, which we have here as well, admittedly. So we really got to try and play to her strength here. We're going to get into the middle because we definitely want some concealment and see that we can use the islands as much as possible. And then we scout a bit ahead. Our destroyer is taking the left flank, so we'll take the right. Getting ready to pop our smoke as soon as we see anything that could threaten us. Don't want to push ahead too far, because these islands are hiding a lot of things. So this island in the center is kind of like a good place to start. We don't really want to go any further than this, otherwise we're getting too close to the enemy fleet and we might be surprised here. See if we can peek around the corner, get any kind of spotting out here. Oh, there's the Mayhem. Okay. Get some torpedoes out. Switch over to the armor piercing. There come the Mayhem torpedoes. That's a good spread, but that's a bit wide. Now here, I can't really shoot backwards easily because I only have 1 gun turret and it's only a twin turret. So we got to outrun the Mayhem's torpedoes here. Okay, torpedoes run out. The battleships haven't quite caught up yet, so let's see if we can do some damage to this Mayhem before he disappears. No, he's gone. And there's the enemy Akatsuki. Okay, so we've got both destroyers on this flank, so we got to get back there to make sure that we're helping and prevent our battleships from getting wrecked by these destroyers. So we'll take this flank over here, switch on the sonar, and see if we can get any spotting done. Now here comes the camo rating of this ship. Oh, there he goes. There's the Mayhem again. Yeah, he's got torpedoes out again. I spotted them in time. I'm gonna see that I can outrun these. Mayhem smoking up. Is he hiding or is he disengaging? Let's fire blind into the smoke or send some torpedoes into the smoke. See if we can catch him. There he is. Now he's avoided the torpedoes. And there's the Akatsuki. So we gotta watch out because the Japanese destroyers have long-range torpedoes.
Enemy ship locked.
We're not getting any fire, catching any fire from the battleships just of now.
We hit the enemy.
But we don't want to rush too far ahead. Let's pop our smoke and see if we can. This Akatsuki isn't going to stay, right? So I'm going to send some speculative torpedoes this way. Actually back off. Use our torpedo reload booster because I want to get a second set of torpedoes against him. Oh, no, not necessary. The first set got him. Nice. Now, did he get his torpedoes away? I'm going to back out of the smoke, not forward, just in case he sent torpedoes my way. I don't think he did. So that just leaves the Mayhem to be killed. And he's on the other side of the island, so that's unpleasant. Now, the New York here is dead. The New Mexico there obviously can do massive amounts of damage against us, so we can't really push around this way. We'll switch back to high explosives for now and see if we can set some fires. So we don't want to get too close to this New Mexico over there. Currently not spotted. Oh, and somebody killed the destroyer. Okay, so we just got the battleships to focus on. Okay, let's get a run on in. Oh yeah, there goes the first fire. Someone's popped sonar. There's really no need for that. We don't have any destroyers. Oh, we're getting targeted by the other New Mexico. So see if we can do a run by here. Get our torpedoes away, and then turn over because we're getting uncomfortably close to these ships. And yeah, he's noticed me. He's turning his turrets around. The secondaries are opening up.
Under attack.
Let's see if we can get a second torpedo salvo away. But we don't want to give broadside to this guy. Oh, he's firing high explosive at me. That's nice. Thank you very much, Mr. New Mexico. That would have been unpleasant otherwise. See if he can dodge the torpedoes. Looks like he's turning in.
Target hit.
So probably just one hit, maybe. So I'm trying to set another fire onto him. Yeah, there we go. One torpedo hit. You keep an eye on the minimap and see that if our other flank is in any kind of trouble. So let's not head too far ahead. I don't want to go for the cap here.
Nice shot.
We'll pop smoke again. Slow down. Ah, there we go. There's another fire. Let's see if we can burn down this New Mexico without getting shot in the process. He puts out the fire, but yeah, he's dead. Okay, and the battle's almost over. Yeah, there's nothing much more we can do here. And by points, we've won this one. Now, we haven't done badly in this battle. Let's have a look at what the results are looking like. We've done what we were supposed to do. We were the only cruiser in the game, and we had 2 enemy destroyers to deal with. So I feel like we caught them, we distracted them, we sunk one of them, and we mostly managed to keep them away from the battleships where they could have wreaked absolute havoc. So we did decently, 44,000 damage done, all in all. We did 32,000 damage with the main batteries. We did a bit of torpedo damage, just a little bit of fire damage. We didn't really get lucky with fires here, weren't able to set fires that were sticking. And we came second after the Colorado, which is a tier 7. So that wasn't terrible. I feel that we haven't carried the game per se, but we've done decently in our support role in this game, given the amount of battleships that were around. We've done some damage to the battleships, but the most important thing we've done was to distract the destroyers and keep them from getting close into the battleships and wreak havoc on them. So I think had I played this game in a de grasse, it might have played out similarly. But had I played this game, say, in a Nuremberg, and had I managed to get close to the battleships, I could have done heaps more damage with the torpedoes, just because the Nuremberg has the twin launchers on both sides. So getting close, firing 2 spreads from one side, turning around, firing 2 spreads from the other side. You can do, if you get close to a battleship which is already taking damage, you can take them down this way. You will take some damage in return, but you can definitely take them down. And you've got the rear turrets to keep high explosive spam onto them while you're retreating, even though the Nuremberg's high explosive isn't great. So, is she an overpowered ship, the Huang He? I feel not. I feel she's got her niche, but she's definitely not easy to play. I try not to play. I usually play light cruisers more like oversized destroyers, and she fits that description. Given how fragile she is and the relatively short torpedo range, I feel that she's more of a support ship rather than a ship like the de Grasse, where you can go off on your own and do wreak long range havoc on things. So she feels more like the Nuremberg with weaker guns. But yeah, she's not a bad ship. I'm not particularly excited about her, but she's definitely an interesting ship and a unique setup with her ship skills. And she's the only Chinese cruiser in the game. So if you want to have a use for your Chinese captain and you feel that that she could be a great addition, then definitely go for it. But I don't think she's like the killer bundle that you have to buy, because there are very good light cruisers at tier 6 in the game that can do equally as well as her, or even much better than her. So my favorite used to be the Nuremberg. Now it's probably definitely the de Grasse. I think the Leander is disastrous, and the I had problems with the Soviet ships at Soviet light cruisers just because the torpedo range makes them useless against battleships. So they are playing in a similar class of long-range support ships and destroyer defenses for the bigger ships. So I don't feel that she's unique in that you have to get her, but she's definitely an interesting ship and a pretty one at that. So if this is something that you like and this is a playstyle that you like and enjoy, then definitely go for it. That's it for today. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.